would say at least top 10, right? At least.
Josh, before we send you off, same question for you.
Ooh, I think we're sending Juicy off, so I think I have plenty of time. I could be wrong though.
Nope, I'm staying, bro.
Man, what? Okay. I'm gonna be placing him top 5, but Azelius is always #1 in my heart.
#1 former player for a lot of top-tier teams, and of course maybe the best poker player out of all of the former CRL pros. And we'll say bye to Josh here as we have one of our a staring contest here, Juicy, between Hugo and Adriel.
Yeah, a bit. It looks like Adriel started with this zap here just to try and maybe prompt Hugo to make a play so he could react to it, but you know, he's gonna take that damage and Hugo's not gonna overcommit with anything. Waiting this long, definitely gonna be some beatdown or some like heavier control decks potentially. Seeing the zap from Adriel, I would not be surprised to see a Lava Hound. I'm not really sure what Hugo could be playing though.
A little inside baseball here for people, but I with Adriel's picture, the older he gets, the more he looks like his father. So growing up nicely are these young pros, and we'll see if one of them does pull the trigger here as we get closer to those final 20 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah, double elixir is going to mean a lot. I'd be interested to see once double elixir hits if someone will make a play to take advantage of that slight elixir lead that you can get, or maybe both players are just going to be completely content and waiting for each other to make that first play so they could respond. And nope, goes to the bridge from Hugo. Inferno from Adriel. Maybe some Mega Knights? No, a Giant Skilly. Maybe a Giant Skilly, a Drill Bridge fan versus my Lava Hound idea from Adriel here. Here comes the lava.
And looking for some separation is Hugo, and he does get it.
You're absolutely right. Taking the Mighty Miner out very nicely with the Fisherman, and then the Queen taking out that Inferno Dragon first, leaving the lava for last. And now there's a big counter push. 2 Giant Skellies, Arch Queen, Fisherman. Log comes down the Tombstone. Ghost gets some damage on the other lane. Tombstone, Log was a little bit quick, but the Giant Skelly is making it to the tower right now.
That's absolutely huge. No way to pull that off. That's going to be a nice chunk of damage as it goes kaboom. 1183 on the left-hand side. And now it's Adriel splitting lanes. The Loon to the right-hand side. Lightning comes out on defense, but Loon will connect. Still damage in the left-hand lane as well with the pups going to town on that left-hand side. Skelly Drags connect, and suddenly both towers in a lot of trouble for Hugo. While the action was slow to kick things off, it has gone on fire here as we go into sudden death.
Yeah, I think the most important play there by Adriel was to, realize that he wasn't able to defend, not overcommit versus that Giant Skelly, and then say my turn, and then attack on both lanes with everything he had. Once again, on that attack, I think it was really important that he delayed on his Skelly Drags on the right-hand side to not give that Lightning too much value. Here comes another Lightning on defense. Since Archer Queen is Hugo's only air targeting card, you can only have one of them down on the board at a time. It can be difficult to defend those opposite lane air pushes, but he does his best. Skelly Dragon getting quite a bit of damage here, and here comes another Balloon using that Mighty Miner 3-card cycle.
Balloon not going to quite get there, and I think drops just outside of death damage range. 388 stays on that tower. Ghost has to get picked up. You can't sacrifice those shots at this stage. Adriel with a nice advantage at the moment, and Fireball in the deck. So spends the Fireball, has to Tombstone.
Yeah, with triple elixir, I think he's going to cycle back that Fireball extremely quickly, and that's me game. Adriel taking the first game. And Hugo needs to win this next game if he wants to continue this best of 3 and stay in it.
This is a big one for Adriel, who has long been a world-class level player. Finally got old enough for CRL at the end of last season, and had a run where, he put up a whole lot of points, but of course not quite able to accumulate enough in those late stages to make it into CRL World Finals, but was one of our picks last year as one of the rookies of the year and a guy to watch this year. And of course, right now he is 1 game of Clash Royale away from moving on to our top 16.
Fisherman in the middle from Adriel. Flying Machine to pick that up. Maybe an RG from Adriel. Hugo maybe some fireball bait kind of thing, maybe some like recruits. Let's see. Skeletons come down, so a quicker cycle. Zappy's here, and already looking like Hugo's got a pretty nice matchup here. Assuming Adriel has a lightning. Zappy's, Fly Machine, that sort of stuff, the fireball bait kind of thing. It's definitely what you want to be having against the lightning deck, but you never know what spell Adriel will be using here. Here comes the RG the bridge. Might see a cage on defense from Hugo. Let's see. No, a Mega Knight. Interesting.
Now, interesting choice here. Why does Adriel go with the Royal Giant into that left-hand lane when neither of his towers are weak, and he already had the bit of a chip on the right? Was that just an instinct thing, or is there any specific reason he went that side?
I can't think of a big reason. I mean, there's one.
Boy.
Yeah, this is hard to watch. I can't really answer this question right now with everything happening. He does talk back to Skeleton, so he does have something for his mirror mini P.E.K.K.A. But Hugo's got a huge advantage already. And maybe you're right, Rich. Maybe it's not a matter of lanes, but maybe he shouldn't have gone for that RG at all, since Hugo does have that huge counter push potential. And he's getting quite a bit of damage here as well with the pigs.
Game number 2 completely out of hand for Adriel. Hugo making his case to stay alive here. 88-12, the personal best for the Frenchman, and looking to add what would probably be the greatest achievement of his career with a performance this weekend, and of course continuing that next weekend.
And there we got to see how strong the Zappies are when you do not have the correct response. RG only able to get one hit. Adriel is able to kind of clean up that defense quite nicely this time, though. The mirror Fly Machine on the board, extremely annoying. Here comes some pigs as well. Arrows, trying to clean up, but the Dark Prince does quite a good job. The Fly Machine not in range of the tower, so the Hunter forced to come down. And now we're back to another Fly Machine. The Dark Prince does connect. And Adriel, all of a sudden, he's doing a really good job of just preventing damage and chipping away, trying to come back here. If he wins this game, I'd be really surprised, though, especially with how strong Hugo's defense is with his Zappies and the mini P.E.K.K.A. and stuff like that.
It was a very important shot to connect. Now the log out of cycle. Hunter plus arrows plus Hunter Spear all trying. Gets back to log. Eats just a little bit here. 353 remaining.
That's the thing about pigs, am I right? Like, it's always getting a little bit of damage. Mirror mini P.E.K.K.As on defense versus that RG will get one shot. Hunter doing his best to clean up the mini P.E.K.K.A. Really close game right now. Adriel is sitting back on this lightning. We can't forget about that. If that tower gets down to, 300-400 range, Adriel is going to be very close to spell radius, whereas Hugo only with the mirrored arrows, not exactly enough to finish off games at this point. Here comes a Mega Knight. The Flying Machine survives. That's huge. This Flying Machine is getting so much value. The Mega Knight's going to distract the Hunter. Look how much value this Flying Machine is getting. And the arrows are going to come down. Piggy's always chipping away.
Wow. Log does hold on for a little bit. Hunter in front. And it was the Hunter play to the bottom left corner as the Flying Machine came up top. And that Flying Machine just sat and made a home here. 242 remaining. Lightning now to get that Flying Machine off the board. Piggy's in. Dark Pin's trying to hold. Skelly's behind. Has to stop these pigs from connecting at all. One's getting body blocked up high. And the Mother Witch can create some serious problems right now.
It absolutely is. 27 seconds left here. The pigs are spawning everywhere. They aren't connecting to the tower, though. The Hunter and everything doing their best. Here comes some mirrored arrows, and that's going to be enough. That's going to be a good game. Hugo taking the second match, forcing this to a game 3. Who got your money on, Rich?
Wow.
Not to put you on the spot.
Can I pick someone who already won, right? Like, I got my money on Morton and Surgical Goblin and Pandora and Ender. I have no idea what to do here. This is crazy.
This is insane. All right,
Let me try to look at the matchups here all the day. Went off the screen a little bit too fast.
Let's see what the matchups here. Looks like we're not going to have what we had in the first couple games. No waiting now. Hugo looks like a very kind of a drill bridge spam, or not a drill bridge spam, but a drill spam with some wall breakers and probably like the drill plus a bomber combo. Just going to be a drill bridge spam from Audio versus a drill spam from Hugo. I'm not sure who has a matchup here. The Valkyrie is going to be getting a lot of value from Hugo. I know that. Guard's going to be cleaning up this cannon cart. Fireball. He has Fireball for the Magic Archer as well. That's really solid.
And it feels like the wall breakers are going to pretty much always be forcing out a little overspend to defend them, right? There's nothing cheap to pick them up with here. The NATO,
Absolutely.
the best option. But even then, you're getting a +1 advantage there.
Same thing with that Fire Spirit. Like, forcing out 4 Elixir Golden Knight just because he wants to prevent that damage. Like, it's definitely important to prevent that damage, but it's not what Adriel's wanting to do. Valkyrie's going to come down and clean up this as well. Now we're going to see a huge counter push. Ooh, I like this play from Adriel. Basically blocking, kind of predicting the drill to come down. But Hugo, really patient. Waits, realizes that play could have happened, and gets a nice Inferno Tower, shredding that Giant Skelly. Adriel's up 1 Elixir, but Hugo does have this Inferno Tower, going to stay up for quite a bit, going to kind of block this lane. Looks like Adriel's leaking some Elixir, waiting for the play, and now he's going to try and defend this without taking damage.
Yeah, and that was interesting, right? Because you see Hugo give up the Elixir advantage that might be one of the key factors for him, and Adriel playing it very, very patiently. So many players might have cycled something in the back, tried to start building here, but instead, just look at how clean the defense has been so far, opting to, and I think this is probably the right move, right? Because
no,
I
absolutely.
think that Adriel is going to get a bit more advantage when we get into double and triple Elixir, and those overspends on defense don't impact him as much.
Absolutely. A lot of the time with these counter push oriented decks, like Splash Yard or this drill, a lot of times single Elixir you are playing reactively. Even if you have a 1 or 2 Elixir advantage, a lot of the time it is good. Just wait for that opponent to play something. Now that we're into double Elixir, it's going to be a lot different. Adriel's going to be able to build up some big pushes, continue to defend and counter push. But the biggest thing is the big pushes, right? Like, Hugo does have the Fireball, he does have the Valkyrie, but how do you stop a Giant Skelly plus Golden Knight plus Magic Archer plus Drill? Like, there's some crazy pushes that you can make with Adriel's deck, and Hugo's gonna do his best to try and, pressure and make sure those things don't happen. But 50 seconds until triple Elixir.
And this is a lot of dual lane pressure set up. You already have the Inferno Tower low. You don't want to spend the Fireball there. Now, this is interesting, though, because part of Adriel's game plan is keep those Fireballs off his tower as much as possible. You see those high Magic Archers, but right now, a good opportunity for a Fireball to create some room.
Absolutely. Fireball takes out the E-Wiz. Defensive Drill going to clean up the wall breakers. Always making that negative Elixir trade, like you said. Valkyrie does connect on the right-hand side. That's going to be the first bit of chunk of damage that Hugo really gets here. And here comes another Drill on the left. Cannon Cart is a threat. He does the Fire Spirit. He needs something else. He goes for the Valk. Golden Knight and Ghost defense for the Drill is going to be so good on defense. No damage going to come through there. And now we're almost into triple Elixir. I think the later it gets in this game, obviously the more pressure Adriel will be able to create, but we can't forget that Adriel does not have the big spell. Hugo, just a couple Fireballs. In a game like this where, the HP is so close, just a couple Fireballs is going to make a difference. And here comes the first Fireball.
And that's the big question, right? Is how often can he get Fireball value? Or more importantly, how often can Hugo take the Magic Archer off here by some methodology other than Fireball and get that Fireball on tower? We'll see here. Magic Archer at the bridge behind this Drill on the right-hand side. Fireball forced out there at the bridge, but the lead only precariously held by Adriel with 23 seconds left, 21:54 to now 21:45 as it swings back to Hugo.
Notice how Hugo is pressuring the ops lane, even though he had more damage on his left or right just a minute ago. That's really important because it makes it so Adriel's counter pushing units isn't able to help him out on the counter push. And it's really close right now. Drill and the Fireball connects, but that Cannon Cart's locked on the left-hand side, and that's going to be enough.
Oh my word. Hugo focusing on that right side defense did a great job distracting the Magic Archer with the wall breakers. Doesn't matter. Cannon Cart slips through, and as it has done so many times in the past, most famously